If you watched Wednesday Night Dash, you heard both of us in the announcer's booth because we had two big fat DNFs. I'm DJ Flook,
I'm Eric Richardson.
and yeah, I sound better than I did last night, and I sound better than I did the night before, but still not 100%. And that definitely goes with my driving last night. That was not 100% either.
And I was okay with first run, but then it was a spin coming out. Decided to take a few laps, and I'm like, I'm a few laps down. I'm not running for anything. I just want to watch this finish.
That's what I did. I was by the time I came out of 4 and I lost it, and I hit the pit wall just after the pit entrance, like maybe 10 feet past the pit entrance. So I had to do a full lap tow. And then by the time, they changed tires and everything, I was already like 5 laps down. I'm like, okay, nothing good is going to come from me coming out here. So I just parked it, and I texted Kendall. I'm like, I'm coming into the booth. Not.
Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah, there
I
you go.
wanted to finish, but I figured, I'm not gonna gain anything. I just want to watch the finale here because the top six were just neck and neck the
Great.
entire way.
They were great all night. Hunter Hughes had his breakthrough first win last night. He was great. Congratulations to him. He's been
Yeah, he had a
close
great run.
several times all year. He's had some bad luck in some of the races, and he Tyler came up late, and he started pretty conservative in the first half, and then he pushed it to the end, and he admitted this is not one of his favorite tracks. Could have fooled me. He made a
Yeah, he did
strong run at
good.
the end. Yeah, kept strong run from the league champion, and Hunter moved into second with his win. And so you had Caden, you had Colton tied for second going into the last, and then they end up finished tied for third because Colton got the pole bonus. And yeah, they
Yeah,
unreal. It's just like I went to do the final tally live on the broadcast, and I'm like, we have a tie for third. Was not expecting that.
yeah. We'll look at the future here as we get into the next seasons and come up with an idea for that, or just keep it as
Yeah,
is.
split the pot. They both deserve it. I mean, honestly, they both put in a. Somebody suggested going a one-on-one at Bristol, and then I wrote on the dirt. Maybe if it was a championship, we do the tiebreaker on the dirt. But
That'd be
yeah,
fun.
yeah, well,
Overall, it was a great season. A
it
lot of
really,
very close
really
racing.
was. It was very competitive, literally top to bottom, mainly because my brother didn't show up to any of the races, but dig it subtle, not so subtle dig at him.
I want to go back and just look at what the average margin of victory was on this season.
It was I think we had what 3 races that was under 1 second.
Yeah, and my win was 3/1000ths of a
Of a
second.
second. Yeah, we had some good ones. So playing with my new toy here, actually, if you're watching the broadcast. So got my Formula One tire keychain that showed up in my house today. So I'm excited about that.
I wonder what they did to shrink that down because I thought the tires on
Uh
those F1 cars were a lot bigger than that.
you remember the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? They've got the shrink ray, and
All right,
shrink it right down. That's
I can go for that.
yeah. I mean, it worked in the movies. Why can't it work in real life?
Yeah, why not?
There you go. So, we'll swing back on final thoughts on the season, but I want to talk about the big NASCAR event from the weekend, and that is Ty Gibbs wrecked his teammate. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not the big
That's
story.
that was the big story until Ross Chastain,
Pulled off
who
maybe one of the most insane moves I've ever seen.
I said to do what everyone has probably seen it by now, but for those who didn't, he was told he needed to make up 2 spots when he was on the backstretch of the final lap. And he's like, you need 2 spots. And he just punched it and took his car right into the wall, rode it around turn 3 into turn 4, and made up 5 spots in the last 2 turns at Martinsville, which is a small track.
And his lap time was 2 seconds faster than the next fastest in the race.
He was 1/10 of a second away from beating the all-time track record for it was the modified series. Absurd. I mean, there's two things that come to mind, and is either you have to have nerves of steel to even think about doing that, or you have to be, have a little bit of a screw loose in your head to have the courage to do that. And with Ross Chastain, probably both are true.
It was hilarious listening to the drivers' reactions. Like Logano might be one of the best ones. And Chase Elliott completely calm, just what?
Logano was just laughing about it. And then
some of the spotters thought it was hilarious.
Oh man,
that happened.
Yeah, it's just that there's a video on the NASCAR Instagram page and probably on their other social media where they just show the in-car and the radio chatter from the various other drivers and crew and spotters, and and Kyle Larson, who got kind of ribbed for that was an embarrassing move for NASCAR. Like, breathe the room, Kyle. Everyone loved that. That was probably dangerous as hell, but everyone loved it, Kyle. And we also remember that you've attempted that twice, and you didn't pull it off in either case.
Now, it's kind of crazy. We're talking about this being an incredible move and getting into the championship 4. What if it goes the other way and all of a sudden takes out the next 8 cars?
Oh, man. It's like the football analogy. You're down 1 late in the game and you decide to go for 2 and you get the 2-point conversion. Oh, what a genius. What a courageous move. You botch it. You miss the 2-point conversion. What was that idiot thinking? Oh, you're a moron. It's just like that was one of those, we're going to be talking about this forever in the history. As long as NASCAR is a thing, this clip will be talked about forever. And yeah, had he mistimed that, or if there would have been a car that had been riding the fence too, or riding the high line, and he would have caused a huge wreck or hurt somebody, or God forbid killed somebody, especially with all the injuries we've had this season. Oh, that could have been a completely different conversation.
Well, and just think if one of those front runners got punted up the track on that last turn, and then all of a sudden here he comes and just slams into him.
Oh, that would be just oof. But they play the clip, and it's like, this clip is not sped up, people. This is actual real-time speed.
Funny part is I'm on the phone during the last few laps, and I'm trying not to lose it because I'm having a conversation. I'm like, what did I just see?
Well, and on top of that, like, we have to give a lot of credit here to poor Christopher Bell. 2 times in a row, he's on the verge of elimination, needs to win the final race to move on, does it, and nobody's talking about that because everybody's focusing on Ross Chastain and his insane move to get himself into the final 4 there.
Yeah, Chris Bell, such an amazing drive. And he gets overshadowed. It's unfortunate. He had a great run.
It was great. I mean, he was back a couple of spots with a few laps to go, and it's like, don't count him out. He did the same thing at the Roval, and then here he comes, and he comes in and he wins. He has a pretty comfortable win, and then nobody's talking about it.
Oh, it's gonna be a fun race on Sunday. We got Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, and Chase Elliott.
Who's your pick?
Oh, I don't know. I might have to go with Chase. He's been in this spot before. He's gotten a title.
I think reasonably, logically, I think Chase is. I think Vegas has him as the favorite. I think he probably does pull it off, but man, could you imagine if Ross Chastain ends up winning this weekend? I think a lot of people are pulling for him. Oh, I would love to know how his merchandise sales were for the first 24 hours after the race Sunday.
Oh, I had to have shot up.
There was I was just, the thing I love about Twitter is I just, there's certain topics that, obviously there's a lot of bad crap that happens on there. But if you really want to know what anyone is collectively thinking about an event or something at any given time, go to Twitter. And I just went into Twitter, I searched Chastain, and I stopped by his hauler on the way out of the track and bought a shirt. And there was a lot of those on there.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
he made a lot of fans over the weekend for sure.
it's a good way to change the meaning of the phrase "you got Chastain." No
And
longer
at Denny Hamlin's
crashed.
expense, at Denny. Well, I mean, Chastain apparently still means to
Yeah.
take out Denny Hamlin. It's just a different way this time.
I can probably get behind any of the four winning. Be cool to see Chase Elliott win again. Joey Logano, he's been
He's won
around
before.
for a long time. Great driver there.
And the thing, Joey
Christopher Bell.
Logano's been around a long time. He's not even 30 yet. Like, he came in.
He was a kid when
He was
came
like
in.
17 or 18 when he broke into the series. Like, he was like this phenom driver that broke in at a really, really young age. And but yeah, it's like those one and dones in the NBA, or that go into the NBA. It's like, oh man, Devin Booker's been around forever. Devin Booker's 26. Like, he's not old.
Yeah, I could get behind Christopher Bell being kind of a younger driver and been running solid all season. But looking at Chastain too, one of the smaller teams. It's not the Gibbs, the Penske, the
Hendrick,
all those Team Trackhouse. I mean, they've been pretty strong all year.
And I love the culture of Trackhouse. Like, they just have this very, and I'm not saying like Penske and Hendrick and all them don't, but yeah, you've seen like behind the scenes with the Trackhouse, and it really seems like a real like small kind of family culture where, this might be a bit of an unpopular statement. It's some of these other teams that have been pretty well established got more of a corporate feel, less fun. Don't get me wrong, I love the Penske's and the Hendricks of the world. They've done so much for the sport, but it's I don't know how you can't love what Trackhouse is doing. I mean, they've been a team for barely a year, and Daniel Suarez was, I wouldn't say a punchline in the Cup Series, but I mean, he was never a threat to win races.
And he was running very rarely constantly this year.
I mean, he got his win. He got a win at Sonoma this year. Chastain got 2 wins for them. You've Chastain's, that both drivers were in the playoffs. Chastain's in the Final Four. I mean, I don't know how you can have a better rookie season, full rookie season as a team.
Yeah, at least for what we're seeing, and Trackhouse is something that I think we would aspire to be. We want to have that family as we continue to grow and build FR racing.
Just shout out to Justin Marks, man. That man, he's a genius. I don't like using that word lightly, but man, that guy, he is sharp. And he's got Pitbull behind. It's like, okay, you've got Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, and then you've got Justin Marks and Pitbull, and it's like, Pitbull? I mean, the rapper singer Pitbull? It's like, yes, the same one.
Yeah, fun combos.
I think that's kind of what's missing. I like, we've seen like celebrities have stakes in teams before, but like you don't really see that. And I'm drawing a blank. I know there's been some in the past, but you don't really see that like passion where, when Michael Jordan gets involved in something, it's win or bust for him. I mean, his ownership in the NBA hasn't exactly been that, but with Jordan, it's win or bust.
Well, and what did I read? Maybe Jimmy Johnson's looking at ownership stake in Petty.
Petty GMS, yeah. And he might run part-time next year at certain events.
Yeah, interesting move there. I was kind of surprised to see that.
I'm kind of surprised he left the Cup when he did, but I mean, I you could see he wanted to go and do something else, and he raced in the Indy 500. He got that done. He did essentially 2 seasons.
Knocked off a bucket list item with the 500 there. I
Yeah.
mean, he's 7-time champion. What else does he
I
have
mean,
to
he
accomplish?
was running top 10 until at the 500 until he wrecked in the last couple laps. Um, you know,
And he even led a lap.
he did.
Pit cycles and
Mm,
cautions help, but he still led a lap
There,
at the greatest race of them all.
I mean, there's only a handful of people in history that can say they led a lap at the Indy 500, and he's one of them. And I mean, we've seen all these, Formula One drivers. You've seen NASCAR drivers come in. You've seen people that race in other series come in. World of Outlaws drivers, and just flounder. And I mean, I'm sure some of that is the ride that they're in isn't great, but and I mean, it also helps that he has Ganassi backing going in there. That doesn't hurt.
Not at all. But still, great.
I'm just curious. Do you think Kyle Busch runs the 500 next year?
Um, I could maybe see that. Hopefully his health shakes out, but not running a full schedule.
Kyle, not Kurt.
No. Kurt too. I could actually see him.
I think Kurt might go back and do it, being not in the full schedule. But Kyle, as soon as he switched over to Childress and he's in the Chevy, he said, "Hey, any Chevy Indy teams want to sign me for the 500?" Like that, he's gonna do the double before his career's over. I
I
there's
agree with that.
no doubt in my mind he's gonna do the double.
I think if we see one of the Bush brothers, it's going to be Kurt first, though. If it's next year.
Kurt's already run the double. He did it in 2014, 2016.
Well, for the 23 race.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have his IndyCar right here, the diecast.
I'd put a higher percentage that we see Kurt Busch over Kyle Busch for this next season.
I would agree with that. Kyle's going to do it at some point.
It. Oh, yeah. I believe he will pull the double probably within the next 3 years.
The other one who will pull the double in the next probably 3 to 5 years is Kyle Larson. I think he's been poking around that. He's shown a lot of interest. He actually, when they did the Indy weekend with the road course in was it August? One of I forget which driver it was, but one of the drivers got hurt previously or wasn't sure if they were going to run, and Kyle Larson volunteered to take his spot for the race. So he wants to get in an IndyCar. He's done just about everything else.
I'll toss out 2 more names for a potential double. Santino Ferrucci and Sage Karam.
Yeah.
Both exploring the Xfinity. Maybe some point they get bumped up again here.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Connor Daly. I mean, he made his Cup Series debut at the Roval the other week. So
there's a few.
There was a while where there was somebody doing the double every year. And a lot of times it seemed like it was Robbie Gordon.
Robbie Gordon and John Andretti did a bunch of doubles. Still crazy. You complete both races, 1,100 miles of going fast.
I'm not sure how many times Robbie Gordon actually completed all 500 miles.
True.
I recall many cases with him exiting the race early at Indy and heading to the helicopter. I do remember one year he I want to say it was like 96, 97, maybe 98. Sometime in the late 90s he wrecked, and it was kind of out of Ricky Bobby, and he's like rolling around on the ground because I guess there was his suit caught on fire, but you couldn't see the flames, but it actually, I guess it did catch on fire. It was just like clear flames, which is, not good, but I'll have to look that up. It was pretty wild. And I don't know why I remember that. It's a very, very random, obscure thing to remember.
I was trying to remember. I thought it was quite a bit. Kurt Busch ended up doing 907 miles.
Has anyone actually done all 1,100?
This is on ESPN. Said Busch completed 907 miles in his quest to join Tony Stewart as the only other driver to complete the back-to-back races. The double has been attempted by just 3 drivers, the last being Robbie Gordon in 2004.
That's outdated. Kurt Busch did it, and
Did he? Well, he went out with an engine issue.
that's right. That's right. All right. Oh, you're saying 3 completed all 1,100 laps?
No, that the double has only been attempted.
Oh,
I feel like it's been more.
here, I found the clip.
Stewart was 6th at Indy and 3rd at Charlotte.
Tony Stewart. How could I forget about that? I was at this race. I remember seeing this, and actually, this is where I was sitting. I was sitting right in turn 3 for this year. Okay, so optimize. This is going to look like crap because this is a clip from the late 90s. So bear with me, please. So Robbie Gordon, you're going to see him pull off the track here. And this is the second year after the split. See, and Gordon's pulling off onto the pit lane. And, it's like that. You see the smoke coming out of it. There goes the wheel. And he is out of there in a hurry. And there he goes, rolling around on the grass.
I do remember that. Stop, drop, and roll.
You don't see anything. Like, he's rolling around there, and this is like a Ricky Bobby moment, but I mean, something was burning him. I mean, we know he's okay, but like I at that point I had never, and then Cal Naughton Jr. comes in with the fire extinguisher.
And you see the car is burning.
Yeah, and the crew's like, what just happened there? There you go. There's your Indy 500 history moment. Yeah, I was literally sitting right on the other side of the track right there and saw this.
Look at the safety there. 25 years ago, the safety crew didn't even have helmets on. Those are mandatory now.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, anyway, Phoenix, we got our predictions. I think we both think Chase will win, but at this point,
It's a toss-up.
I think of the 4, I think Logano.
One last question for you on the NASCAR before we move on to Formula One. If Chastain is in a spot to win the championship and Hamlin is running by him, what happens?
I think Hamlin maybe makes it tough on him. Kind of like what happened at Pocono, where Hamlin kind of slid up the track a little bit, but didn't touch him, but made it really hard to get through, and Chastain essentially wrecked himself. Maybe he does that.
He's had a lot of talk.
I don't know. He really, Hamlin, you could see obviously was disappointed, and you heard him on the radio, and he goes something to the extent like, he got me, didn't he? He goes, yep, yeah, he did. Part of me says, I hope he doesn't do anything, because like that would be just,
that'd be a shame to lose a championship because of that.
Super crappy. Like, you're gonna have plenty of other opportunities to take your frustration out on him. Just, don't ruin the championship race. Make it all about you. But I don't think he will.
I think he's better than that.
I think so too. I think he'll make it tough on him, but I don't think he's gonna, similar to what he did at Pocono, but I don't think he's gonna wreck him or intentionally try to slow him down or anything like that.
Well, we'll see. 2 days away, Sunday night.
Well, when everyone sees this, I'll actually be at the at Phoenix Raceway, doing the ARCA race in the morning. So I'm looking forward to that.
So on from NASCAR, Formula One. What's there to talk about? Max Verstappen wins again.
Max Verstappen wins again.
Was that win number 14 on the year?
Yeah.
Tied or set a record? Yada yada yada.
Red Bull finished third. First and third. Lewis Hamilton finishes second. Oh my god, it's just
Red Bull's been penalized a little bit, but
they got a little slap on the wrist. Maybe it brings them back to earth a little bit, but I don't know. I turned off. I was watching Mexico, and I turned it off and put the Martinsville and watched the stage 3, and I'm so glad I did, because what a great finish. But man, it was was kind of a snooze fest.
Yeah, we got Brazil and Abu Dhabi coming up. We got 2 weeks till the Brazil race.
And it's
Kind
like
of anticlimactic because there's nothing to race for.
see, champions decided, constructors decided. I mean, it's the Nicholas Latifi and Sebastian Vettel going away party.
We'll still see if Latifi comes to IndyCar. He
He did
says
make
his focus is the next 2
he
races.
did make a comment of like the logical move is to go to IndyCar, but he did not say if he's committed anywhere. But rumor is that Ganassi has talked to him about a ride, which is interesting. Which, I mean, if Jimmy's leaving, they've got that fourth spot open. It looks like, I think.
Trying to compete with Andretti and getting former F1 drivers.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. And Valtteri Bottas has talked about going to IndyCar when he's done with Formula One. He's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not anywhere close to being done with Formula One, but he could see him in the States in a few years.
Let's see him run the Indy 500.
I don't think we'll be seeing Daniel Ricciardo. Oh yeah, Daniel Ricciardo's going away party. He's made it clear he's not coming to IndyCar. He's that quote's going to be following him around for a long time. But anyway, yeah. Formula One's off this week. We're in Brazil next week. Championship weekend. I'll be at the track. Say hi if you're there on Friday. I'll be there. I'll be wearing this hat. Can't miss me. I'll be in the pits.
I'll be watching on TV.
I'll be there Friday for the ARCA race and stick around for the practices in the afternoon. See how long my kids last. And yeah, we're not ready to take the kids to a cup race yet. It's the ARCA race is like an hour and a half. It's only it's 100 laps. It's an hour and a half at most. And there's all the activities for the kids, so it's like we're gonna keep them pretty busy and probably be out cold on the way home. But on that note, great season for Wednesday Night Dash.
Got our special race coming up this week.
We'll post the replay on our YouTube channel at some point. Well, the replay, we're gonna run some GT3s. It's kind of a pilot test for anything. Just kind of an end of the year thank you for the drivers who have come and raced with us all year. Yeah, IndyCar's in January. We gotta get that schedule finalized.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun.
So, if you want to start registering, we don't know the starting dates yet, but $50 entry fee, 8 races. We'll be doing Indy cars. I haven't decided. I mean, ARCA is going to be on the schedule at some point next year again.
Yeah, too good of a season and then not to do it again.
I mean, I honestly I think we know enough now about the next gen that if we did a next gen season again, I think it would go a lot better. Plus,
yeah, there's a lot more time on those cars now too.
And the competition caution, we implemented that second to last race of the season, and that was the move of the year. That changed everything. By adding that caution, and if we would have had that from the get-go, who knows? But we'll see. Nothing's official yet. We just know we're gonna do IndyCar in January. We'll do ARCA sometime. But yeah, if you want to register, frracingonline.com. We have an oval I rating, 2500 max. We don't want you coming in dominating. But don't have a ton of time to spend on league racing, and you're free at 10 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday night for about an hour. Love to have you.
Yeah, that's all it takes. 15 minutes to open qualify and then a 45-minute race. Keep it short and sweet and a lot of fun.
Yeah. Or it's people have come in and stuck around multiple seasons. There's a lot of happy drivers out there. Despite not finishing well, I'm happy with how things went. I'm going to be replacing my pedal set next week, so I'm sick of messing with it.
We got a fun community developing. The drivers here are just a blast to race and just chat with week in and week out.
Yeah, we got a great group. We're on the Discord. We put the Discord link in the broadcast. Come join us. Come chat with us. You never know what we might talk about. On that note,
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching.